Hi there. So a topic that comes up quite often on Facebook and the Mandolin Cafe and elsewhere is how you tell whether a bowlback mandolin has a good enough neck angle to be able to string the instrument up and do something with it. And I'll explain a little later on why that's important, particularly in the context of Neapolitan mandolins. But the actual test is appropriate to any kind of bowlback mandolin. So this is basically a dead mandolin. This was made by Mandolin. It's a Neapolitan mandolin. It's had a lot of repairs. It's got some truly disgusting overspray on it, and the neck angle isn't that great. It's a scrap mandolin basically. So to check the angle, you want a straight edge. Put the straight edge along the top of the frets with the strings off, okay? And then slide this towards where the bridge would be, and you are hoping that the ruler will miss the top where the bridge would be here. So this is a flexible ruler. So ideally, oops, if I can hold it there, this should have spring, but it's not, it's catching the top. And actually on this one, the frets and this part of the top are more or less in a dead straight line. So let's think this through. If you have a dead straight line from the tops of the frets to here, and you want 1.5mm action at the 12th fret, it means your bridge is going to be 3mm high down here. Now you can do that with an ebony bridge, but the problem is with a 3mm bridge it's going to start to flex, and so when the strings are on and it's pushing the bridge down, the bridge will tend to curl up at the end. So that's one problem. The other problem is that, believe it or not, with 3mm between your strings and the top, your pick will hit the top. You wouldn't think you would pick that deep, but you really do. So ideally what you're looking for is you'll run the straight edge along, and you'll actually find there's a 2 or 3mm gap between the ruler and the top and the ruler. If you've got a flexible ruler like mine, it'll be all wobbly. Not hitting this at all. If you've got 2 or 3mm, it's fine, you're in clover. You'll end up with a 5 or 6mm bridge, and that'll be just fine. Some mandolins, if they're in really bad condition, you'll slide the ruler along, and literally the ruler will disappear down the sound hole, or it will hit the pick guard down around here somewhere. Then they're in kind of, they've had it basically. This one, were it not for the fact that it had a lot of other issues, you could just about get away with setting it up. And these Venezia student mandolins, Mandolin, Di Santo, there's a couple of others, they all seem to have, they just seem to be made this way, to be honest, with the action very kind of on the edge of what's acceptable. Now, okay, let's explain why this is important for Neapolitans. If you have a US made bowlback, Martin for example, it's quite likely that the neck can be reset. So in fact I've just reset a Martin bowlback neck because it does have a dovetail joint in there. For the Neapolitans, the neck and the neck block are all one piece of wood. and they are literally the first thing that's made. So the neck through into the inside, the block of wood that holds these ribs together in here, it's all one piece of wood. It's actually softwood, and then this rosewood that you're seeing on the outside is just a veneer that's wrapped around and helps hold everything together and strengthen it, but it's softwood inside. And as I say, that's made first, it's made as one block, and then all the ribs and the top are glued onto that one block that forms the neck. So there's nothing to reset because there's no join. There are some repairs that you'll sometimes see done. So there is one rather drastic repair where you can cut the neck actually off at the body, change the angle, and then root out a slot and put a biscuit, piece of wood basically, inset along here that holds the two halves together. I haven't done that. Personally, I have my doubts as to how well it will hold, but I guess in theory it shouldn't actually be any worse than a dovetail. If you are pulling the frets and re-leveling the board, even though the board is super thin and it's cut right through, you know, the fret slots actually go right through the board, you can pinch a little bit at the nut end so that you end up with a slightly wedge-shaped board going down towards the bridge. And that will give you, well, if you pinch a 1/2 mil at the nut, that'll give you an extra millimetre at the bridge. Might not sound much, but it makes a difference between a 3 mil and a 4 mil bridge. 4 mil bridge is much better. So I hope that gives you an idea how you go about checking these. And thanks for watching. Cheers now.